That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
I'm 6 feet tall from Germany / Switzerland. My wife is blonde hair, blue eyes. Triple D tits, and 2 of my 3 daughters are also... Okay, well, good for you, Prophet Truth. If any of that's fucking true, you could be a LARPer. If it is true, good for you, man. I'm sorry, I live in the fucking Western world hell, and my childhood unfortunately conditioned me to be what I am today. I will not have that. I am sad. I'm glad for you, though. You know, since I'm drunk, should I show the schizoid personality stuff? Because you'll be blown away how much of it fits me. I don't think I've been this drunk on stream in quite a while, but I'm pretty chill. I'm not mad about anything. I could probably just read out some symptoms. I'm sure whatever chart it is would be fine. Honestly, some of the shit, it definitely seems like just like fed boys trying to diagnose any fuck. Like, I just watched What If Alt Hiss video on Ted Kaczynski, which he was right, obviously, 100%. Not even a question. The answer is yes, of course. And how they diagnosed him with schizophrenia, and it's like, yeah, they obviously did that to just discredit everything he said. He was obviously right. I don't know, here's like a basic one, but the chart I read was really good. Here we go. So symptoms: if you have schizoid personality disorder, it's likely that you want to be alone, do activities alone. Yep, that's me. Do not want or enjoy close relationships. Not true, but avoidant personality disorder is like a lesser version of it, which is more likely what I have. Feel little if any desire. That's not true, really true either. Take pleasure in few activities. That one is true. Find it hard to express your emotions. Kind of true. Most of the emotion things I do is like an act on stream. That one's not really true either. I feel like a lot of this shit is fucking, psychology is a pseudo-science for a reason. The chart I read was way more specific than this. This one's definitely true. Do not react to praise or criticism. That one's kind of true. It's still become more true over time. Well, that one's so vague, but that one's also true. View me as odd. The difference between like schizoid and avoidant is usually like lack of emotions. This one's so vague that anybody could self-diagnose for it. Where's like a fucking... There's one that was really good. Whatever, what's this Venn diagram here? You know the amount of times I've like clicked on Google and it'll show an image, and then you click on the page that the image is from, and it's like it's not even fucking, like it's barely even a part of the fucking thing. Whatever, let's just look at this one, why not, for the hell of it. Misdiagnosis Monday, schizoid PD versus autism. So schizoid is self-isolation, that's true. Attached and indifferent to relationship, kind of true. Validation comes from within, not external, yup, that's true. Restricted range of emotion, kind of true. Difficulty with empathy, debatable. Social, what the fuck does anhedonia mean? Fucking stop being pretentious assholes. Inability to feel pleasure, that's true. Let's see. And then autism is sensory issues, no. Repetitive behavior, kind of. Visual high context thinker, kind of. Strict adherence to routine structure, kind of. Special interests, that's true. Alright, so then the crossover is flat effect. Not sure what that means. Social difficulties and withdrawal. Yep. Difficulty, eye contact, kind of. Motivation difficulties, definitely true. Easily overwhelmed with positive emotion. Yep. High need for alone time. Yep. Genetic and neurological similarities. Maybe. I don't know. Often feels more like an observer than participant. Definitely true. Higher likelihood of being asexual, aromantic, and I don't know. Rigid cognitive patterns. True. I don't know. This psychology is pseudoscience. Okay, there you go. They just want to discredit me. Where the fuck is the chart? That was literally me. God damn it! I shared it on my phone, man, but it's not in Google. But again, the fact that these are inconsistent tells you that this is all just exists to put sane people trying to prove there's something wrong with modern society in an insane asylum, which don't even exist anymore. But they just only reserve those for basically suicidal people now. But still, they can still say that you're like schizophrenic just to discredit every true thing that you have to say. The fact that I can't even find consistent symptoms on this should really tell you something. The psychology. Honestly, though, you know what's more true than any of these? Maybe I should just Google this. This is a Wojak. That's like literally me. Okay, here we go. This is kind of depressing, but I feel like this one's pretty, a lot of these are true. No, that's not it. This is a different version of this. Now, half of those aren't that. No, this is a different version of this meme that's more accurate. That's, of course, the Reddit one comes up first. This is a better one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, this might be it. Alright, self-loathing man of inaction. Super neat has been... That one's not true. It's not this one either. God, there's so many Oomers. There's 10,000 Oomer memes. There's one, though, that describes me almost perfectly, and it's definitely self-loathing man of inaction. I think Google is so shit, though, that it won't show any edgy ones. I need to find the one that's actually literally me, and I'll show you. It's like, oh, what's synthetic man actually like? I can show you, dude. I can show you. Is it weird that there's like 5 versions of self-loathing man of inaction? Because obviously people are just writing what describes them, but there is one where I'm like, the guy who wrote this is me. Okay, why am I not shocked these are all Reddit ones? Okay, what is this one? Okay, late 20s, early 30s. Well, yeah, that's me. Only things he does are things he used to do. He does them less and less. What does that say? He doesn't even enjoy them anymore. That's what that tiny text is at the top, so that's true. Has built entire worldview around his neuroses. That's debatably true. Needs some time to think. Constantly revisits increasingly skewed memories of the past. Yep. Wondering what he should have done instead. Fixated on things no one actually remembers. Probably not even him at this point. Yep. I can't do anything. Defeatist who can never quite give up. Yeah, that's like an oxymoron, but it's so true. Defeatist who can never quite give up. That's true. Only boring people get bored. Well, I'm definitely not boring, so that one's not true. Slowly becoming actually retarded. That's debatable given how well I did in school. It's like, yeah, 10 years ago, I was pretty damn smart, but I feel like maybe it's the mold or the lack of sleep, but my holes in my brain. Yeah, this is pretty Reddit. Some of these are too Reddit for me, but closest thing to fun or new experiences are elaborate fantasies where he reimagines doing his entire life centered around girls. Well, that one's not quite true, but when I was younger, that was kind of true. For me, my elaborate fantasies are just like imagining books or games or whatever. That's basically what it is. Let's see. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. No, it's not too late, but wishes it was. I don't wish it was, but at some point you do convince yourself. It's like, well, I'm 28. I'm not going to learn to do whatever. I'm just not gonna take the time out, so that part's kind of true. Only hurts when I laugh. Goes months at a time without laughing. Well, that's definitely not true because of streams. Let's see. Either neat or wage slave, both equally hopeless. Thankfully, I'm not that. It's not like things can get worse. It's not like things can get better. Accidentally once felt a moment. Some of these are hyperbole, obviously. Like, I feel like part of the Oomer thing, like, this is clearly just exaggeration. Developing health problems justify shitty lifestyle. That one is weirdly hits close to home. Yep. Developing health problems to justify shitty lifestyle. That one is like, that one is really fucking, that one hits. See, why should I do anything? Can I accept what he's done? Nothing. Just nothing in response. Let's see. He exists in a state of living death, thinking the same thoughts over and over, day in, day out, even as he understands that thinking doesn't help and that he needs to just act instead. He's completely overwhelmed by inertia while life passes him by. He has lost everything but can't let go of anything. That is interesting. Interesting thought, kind of profound. Not exactly accurate. I think there's an edited version of this that was even closer, but this has about half of what I was thinking of. So yeah, there you go. I don't know. You can tell I'm drunk that I'm pulling up Woj, fucking Oomer memes. What's an Oomer? Coomer, Zoomer, Boomer. There's like there's like 100 different versions of Oomer memes, and they're all the same Wojak format, where it's just a bunch of text around a face, like I just showed you. That's what an Oomer meme is. People make parodies of them. Like, I remember, before my brother got sick with the mold, there was a good one called The Dipper, which is all about people who do dips, the exercise, the bodyweight exercise. My brother used to do dips with, 2 plates or something crazy like that. And so I showed him the Dipper meme, and he thought it was pretty funny. The not wanting / disinterested in close relationships part of schizoid personality disorder. Do you feel that extends to any of your current relationships? It's not entirely true anyway. That's why I said I'm more avoidant. Schizoid is like the sociopathic version of avoidant. I'm not a sociopath by any stretch, despite the numerous insults you've heard me fling over the internet. In real life, I'm much more polite. I'm usually only mean to people who are mean to me, for the most part. Now, on the internet, so many people have been dicks just because I didn't like their Goy Slop product that they consume, like the good little little slaves they are. But usually, for the most part, I don't fire first. There's been a couple exceptions, but especially these days, I don't really start drama. It's other people who start drama with me. So, yeah. I hope I outlast the drama horse, but if I get banned, then it's probably not going to happen. What's up with the Mudahar vid? What do you mean? He never made a video. It's not like I'm going to tell on him. If he hangs out here, he listens to edgy shit. I'm not a dickhead. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Mudahar is secretly a chud. No, why would I do that? I have no desire to backstab people. People backstab me enough in my life. I'm not going to backstab anybody. Just got done watching Blade Runner 2049. It's a masterpiece. Love it. Thanks for the recommendations. I'm telling you, anybody who says that movie's bad just doesn't understand it. I hate to be that pretentious guy, but every time I hear people say 2049 isn't that good, like, they literally fundamentally do not get it, which is like, if you don't get it, then stop fucking talking to people like us, because you have nothing to add, alright? You're not like me. You'll never be like me. 2049 is not, it's a view into the present, and even worse, the future of man, where they do not get a woman. No, they're a fucking freak, and the best they can hope for is a goddamn AI girlfriend. They're not the main character. No, they delude themselves to thinking they're the main character. The movie is so it's not even prophetic, because it's literally happening right now, and fucking retards who aren't even that goddamn old, not to name any specific names, don't get the movie. And it's like, listen, how the fuck can you expect to lead anybody if you don't even understand who you're talking to? That's all I'm saying. I understand. I get it. Yeah, Race of Fist was one of them. He was one of the names I was thinking of. But, like, every time people talk shit, I'm like, you just don't fucking get it, dude. You don't get it. It's fine. Also, the message of the first Blade Runner, and I think it's a great movie, but that is a bad message. And it's the opposite of the message of the book. They're not just like us. In fact, the message of the book is that the machines do not have empathy, and that's what separates them from us. And that's true. But the thing is, obviously, since 2049 has to carry the message from the first one through, the second one is like, okay, we're all replicants. Like, on a basic level, the young millennials, the zoomers, whatever, we are basically replicants in that we are a shell of a man. We will never have what the normal person should have. And you can say I'm reading too much into it, but I just think it fits too perfectly with the modern suffering, the modern human condition. So that's why, again, I'm very pissed. Like, I'm fine with you thinking the first one's better. I don't really give a shit. I do give a shit if you don't even fucking understand the movie and then speak with authority and say it's bad. It's like, fuck off. You're a midwit. You're not as intelligent as you think you are. Period. Woman who Ryan Gosling drowned was infatuated with him and hated the fact that he was in love with the AI, not her. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's not a perfect movie. I do think it's slow, and like, yeah, the original definitely has better pacing, I'd say. But the difference is, like, the weird thing about me is, like, all the people who prefer the first one, to me, there's only a few possibilities. The one, you just can't relate to the modern human condition, which I feel like you shouldn't be a YouTuber talking to young dissidents, whatever you want to call people like us, if you don't even fundamentally understand what we grew up with. You really should not, but that's a whole other thing. I kind of lost my train of thought. Fuck. I've been drinking too much. Anyway, I will say it's not a perfect movie, I guess, is my point. I think the first one is better pacing. Oh, what I was going to say was, it's just a change in perspective, right? Like, with the first movie, with Deckard's human. I know people like the theory that he's a replicant, but I feel like that kind of defeats some of the purpose of the movie, if he was. But I don't think he's a replicant. He's a human, so we're a human. We're seeing it through the human lens, how the replicants are just like us, which is arguably an anti-racism message, which I would argue is actually bad in propaganda. But taking that aside, the replicants, you know, since they have a limited lifespan, they never got to live out a life. But despite their very limited thing, their limited lifespans, Roy Batty's seen like all this crazy shit because they were workers on another planet, slave race. So, you know, at the end, the villain learns the value of life and sees the beauty of it, and he's glad that he just just lived it. And you could argue also the message is like the humans might get their full lives, but given that they're basically slaves to the system, that they don't even get to live out their time, whereas the guy with limited time went out and saw the world, really the solar system. So he got to experience more of a life than the average person, which is an interesting message. I like the end of that movie a lot. I think it is really great, but the difference is with the sequel, you're just shifting the perspective where now you're from the eyes of a replicant, except now arguably humans are replicants. The replicants are a slave race to the chosen humans, and the delusion of being the main character absolutely speaks. But again, it requires self-awareness, which in the age of narcissism, people rarely have self-awareness. But a lot of people have solipsism or some form of main character syndrome, which is just some extreme narcissism where they really think they're the main character. And Blade Runner 2049 is like, actually, that's just an implanted memory. You're a literal nobody to be used for someone else who is the main character, which you can interpret that in so many great ways. One, it could be genetics, where like, you know, Deckard and his daughter and all that, they're the better genetic people, whereas the replicant is just like some guy. He's a tool to be used and discarded. And I think that's great for Ryan Gosling too, because he just kind of fits that role in general as like this sort of autistic guy who's just kind of living his life and he doesn't fit in with society. And the AI girlfriend thing speaks to every weeb. Like that is just inherently, like, everyone likes anime. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I don't want to necessarily start fights with people, but I feel like there's so many things that you can read into with the movie where it's people saying that it's about nothing. It's like, fuck you, boomer fuck. I'm so happy for you that you can't relate to this. I'm glad that you can't, okay? Because all the people who can, that just shows you how fucked like Clown World is, that we can, that this is us, this is our lives, okay? This is what we see, right? This is, you know, be glad that you can't relate to this fucking movie, because you know what, fuck you, you know what, you're dead to me, you're fucking dead. It disgusts me, truly. Ever considered the idea of posting a video schedule time like other channels? I don't stream on a schedule, Kenergy. I don't stream on a schedule, buddy. I probably should, but to be honest, if I lived out on my own, I would. But here, it's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea. My mother's the type of person to just drop shit on you the day before. Like, oh, you gotta go do all this shit. And it's like, oh, okay. So, you know, it's better if I know nothing's going on before I stream. How hard did my dad go in trying to get me to join the military? Not that much. I mean, even though he certainly doesn't regret his experience, he also didn't really care if I went in the military. My parents were the type who sort of bought into the, I mean, it's not necessarily bad, like, propaganda, advice, whatever you would call it, to try and foster your kids' intelligence as much as possible. I guess is trying to find a better way of saying that, but you know what I mean. Like, my parents were more concerned with me and my brother doing well in school than joining the military or any of that other stuff. And the problem is my parents were like, they're like better and worse than the stereotypical Asian parent, you know? Better in that only one parent cared super hard. Like, my mother was like the Asian one where it's like, me and my brother used to get like all A's all the time, like straight A's on everything, and my mother barely praised us or cared after a certain point. But you know, if we start slipping, then she freaks the fuck out. And, you know, I don't need to go into it, but there's a lot of reasons why I slipped into a depression in like around 8th grade. And, you know, my parents just made that worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, you can literally, I've had therapists basically tell my mother that, like, you know, you need to ease up on going crazy on your kids for like stupid trivial shit. And she doesn't listen. The only thing she did was, oh, we need to see a new therapist. Because we saw a family therapist, and our family therapist basically told my mom that you're a psycho and you need to chill out. And we never saw that therapist again. So that should tell you something. You know, was lazy in school, but still passed and got a degree, but said degree is worthless. Yeah, I mean, I don't regret not going to college, because I have no debt. My brother did go to college and has I wouldn't call it a useless degree, but a debatably useful degree. It's a field in which he would do much better if he was brown or a woman, because, like, especially a woman, mostly they're looking for women in biology related stuff. But I mean, that's why he went to Alaska, because it's not like there were a whole lot of good jobs for his degree. So he went to work for the government and count fish in Alaska. I've explained this. No offense, my mother sounds like a textbook narcissist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think video games are your parents more to blame for your depression. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of factors. I feel like it had to be a perfect storm. It was my parents. It was the obsession with video games. It was my poor school experiences, which I've told, you know, many stories on these streams before. You know, just a lot of bad stuff had to happen. Again, I like Thinking Ape talked about it. It's called the Matthew effect, where basically it goes both ways. Either one, you have positive experiences compound on each other, right? You have a positive experience which gives you the confidence to make this other positive change in your life, which leads to more positive experiences, etc., etc. But it goes the other way, and that's my life, where I have negative experience which caused me to like hurdle up and seclude myself, which led to more bad experiences because of my poor social abilities, my borderline autism, which led to more bad experiences, which led to depression, which led to more bad experiences, which led to me giving up on school, which led to more bad experience. You know what I mean? Like, I could keep going. But the point is, it's a very clear cause and effect. I wouldn't say that the universe has it out for me or something, except for when I'm playing these video games and I get matchmake with subhumans. Then it does feel that way. But, you know, that's just how it goes. Doomer Hour, can we talk more about what creates an autist compared to a normie? Sure. How do we want to start it off? Yeah, okay, so about, like, the autist thing. I mean, we gotta have a conversation considering how long the fucking queue times are in this game. I mean, I'm assuming we're not being literal with autism. We're talking about figurative autism, as in, like, being socially stunted. For me, specifically, it was just a lot of bad experiences when I was young. My parents didn't really help. In fact, my mother berated me many times, which only made it worse. I already told the story on stream where all the kids were playing in the cul-de-sac and I was in one of their basements playing Donkey Kong 64. My mother has never let me live that down to this day. She still brings it up. Doomer stream now? I mean, it's a Doomer tangent. Nobody cares about your backstory? What the fuck are you talking about? Were you waiting all stream to say that? Of course it's some guy I've never seen before. Anyway, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, specific memories. The sad thing is, I've always had friends. It's just that I've also, at the same time, isolated myself a lot of times. Like, in Ohio, when I was growing up, I was part of, like, a group of, like, 5 or 6 kids who all were in the neighborhood. And, well, the sad thing is, my best friend at the time, I think they were Greek, tan Greeks, but my friend's dad killed himself, which, I mean, he obviously was never the same after that. I mean, at the time, I wasn't really equipped to handle it, but, and the sad thing is, this was like less than a year after, less than a year before we moved to North Carolina. So I didn't really talk to him again after that. My other buddy at the time, I actually ended up talking to him like years later. I visited him. I think I was 14 or 15. But I hung out with him and I think we played like GTA 4 briefly. It was kind of awkward. My mom encouraged me to do it, but I don't know. I guess that was something. A very Greek thing to do. The music elevates the Doomer talk. Yeah, it's not fitting. As for North Carolina, I had a really, really bad year in 5th grade. Like, it was kind of, I mean, it's not my fault, because, like, a kid doesn't really, like, I never had issues making friends. So it was kind of a shock when in 5th grade I was lumped in with, I've talked about my autistic friend before, Jack. Yeah, he was my only buddy in 5th grade, and so we were kind of bullied together. Nobody liked us. The fucking computer teacher even mocked me in front of the whole class, which is very sad. Because basically, what happened was I have never done well under pressure, which is why I always say, like, if someone brings me on a stream as like a trap, I'm just gonna say slurs, because I really I don't do well under high social pressure situations. So the reason I'm saying this is because what ended up happening is on the first day of computer class, this old black lady singled me out and basically had a desktop PC tower and a monitor, and all she said was, "Point which one is the computer." And I freaked out and panicked because I didn't see it coming, so I pointed at the monitor, and then she made fun of me. And not only that, but she also made fun of my younger brother too, because he had her as a computer teacher. She made fun of my brother because we had a 6-digit lunch number. She made fun of my brother for writing down his number on his hand. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with writing your lunch number on your hand just because you can't remember it? Like, what the fuck? This bitch should have been fired, like, 100%. Like, it's, yeah, it's always old black ladies. Yeah, racist old black lady, big shock. But, W, teachers need to be more mean. It's funny because Mac monitors are actually the computer. Yeah. Technically, a monitor is computation components, so in a way, it could be considered a computer. It was just such a bitch move. Like, it's like, I knew what a computer was, but like, being put out on a spot with, like, people pointing at me and shit, like, I had that's when my social anxiety started developing, like, pretty bad, because, I don't know, I guess I was, fucking hell, a 10-minute queue, Jesus Christ. Before we moved, I never had issues in social situations because, like, the little suburb that we lived in, North Carolina, like, it was, like, pretty tight-knit. Like, all the neighbors knew each other, basically. Like, we're talking, like, at least 20 families all knew each other. So, when we move here and nobody knows anybody, I'm not talking, like, I didn't end up talking to that many people. I mean, there were a few in my neighborhood, North Carolina. Those kids were shitheads, though. I think it was another Greek family, ironically, but they were like, their kid was like 5 years younger. What's funny is, yeah, I was kind of a shithead when I was 12 years old. I seem to remember, he accidentally left his, like, Pokemon Diamond or Pearl, I think, at my house, and so we had 2 DS's, me and my brother, so I literally just took all of his Pokemon, and his parents came over to our house and were, like, arguing with my parents about me stealing his Pokemon. And I think my parents said, "Oh, our son would never do that. This is fucked up," or whatever, because their son was little shit. Like, that kid, who was like 8 years old, he's just one of those shithead kids. But I guess I didn't tell them until years later, but I did take the Pokemon. Like, they didn't know that I took them. Was high school rough for me? Honestly, it wasn't as bad as middle school. Then again, I've explained this before. I went to a middle school that had 9th and 10th grade. So, junior and senior year weren't as bad for me. Puberty did you dirty. That's when most of the damage is dealt. No. I actually probably looked better when I was like 17 than I do now. Because I had a lot more hair. I kind of just had like the doomer teenager, but I don't know. I could show pictures of me. I think I have not aged perfectly. The hair is a big part of it, but it's not just the hair. My dad had a black woman teacher that knocked on his head saying, "Hello, anybody in there?" and she pulled on his ears. Yeah, that's brutal. Anyway, I'm trying to think of more. What are more stories from my childhood? Oh right, the whole point of these stories was just to talk about how you don't become a normie. Part of it is, really a huge component of it is my parents, to not go into too many specifics. But I think when my parents got divorced, that was pretty much the death knell. Because, like, I'm not gonna blame my dad for this, but basically, like, when I saw my dad on the weekends, we never, like, did father-son things. We just kind of, like, hung out and watched movies. My dad tried to get me into working out a few times, and I just was not willing to do it. My backstory's like the Grinch. My teacher mocked you. Yeah, right. Yeah, I read that. Yeah. Yeah, my parents got divorced when I was 12, which my parents argued all the time. Like, all the fucking time, so it was not shocking. Fuck, I might have to end the stream. I mean, this is basically like Doomer Hour. Maybe I should just mute the game, at least, if I'm gonna do Doomer Hour. I'll mute it on your end. There we go. I could play music, considering how long this is gonna fucking take. I don't really have that many sad video game tracks to play, but whatever. Guts theme, unfortunately, is copyrighted now. Copyrighted. It didn't used to be. People actually blame the Phantom Menace, which I find it very funny if it's actually their fault, because they were joking that it was like the gay theme. Oh fuck, did I find a match? God damn it. You gotta be fucking kidding me. It took us, what, almost 15 minutes to find a fucking match? I hope it'll let me unmute the game. I thought about making movie watching streams, something like Madam Web when it comes out. I don't want to get banned, because even if, like, it's not auto-detected, I wouldn't be shocked if people just reported me and got me banned. I think you don't really blame your dad for not doing father-son stuff, as you recognize that you could have had maybe a bit more put a bit more effort in the relationship. I don't know if it's really a child's fault at that point, but, like, I'll admit, part of it is I just gave up too early. I was probably exposed to Doomer-related shit too early in my life. Continuing the Doomer Hour where it left off, what do you think was more damaging to be exposed to at an early age? Coomer stuff or Doomer stuff? Coomer stuff. Honestly, the Doomer stuff didn't come till later. I didn't seek out the Doomer stuff until, wait, was Sammy crying? It's fucking dog, I swear to God. Yeah, I could just play Silent Hill music. That's usually very Doomer fitting. Let me think. Some more Doomer stories. I guess I probably have told enough stories this stream. I'll try and think and see if I remember any more in the future. But basically, it's just, you know, I can't speak for everybody who's, you know, like autist or an outcast type person, but just for me, it was a childhood full of bad social experiences. There were plenty. Music too loud. Hold on. It's a childhood full of just a lot of negative social experiences, basically. I've already told some of the experiences of women and shit. Would chat buy a book by me chronicling all my Doomer hours? Why would anyone do that? Why would I do that? Rain and Terror, thanks, $2. You're fighting me, so I'll leave the stream. Oh shit, you're playing this? Yeah, don't stream snipe me, I'd appreciate it. Oh, Raining Terror? I see. Oh, so we got a chat, a super chatter about to beat my ass. That should be interesting. Alright, this will be the last one for real. This will be the last game. Yeah, 10-hour stream. Yep, 10-hour stream. Those bad experiences which made you a Doomer, how come those bad experiences didn't push you all the way to self-deletion? Didn't have access to any easy ways to do it. That's pretty much it. If my parents had a gun, I'd probably be dead right now. World record. I'm sure the world record stream time is like 3 days. No, actually, I think hasn't there been a stream like a week long? Isn't that the record? There's no way in hell I'd be able to do that. Truly a doomer hour. Okay, it might be time to end the stream. If it's been a minute and a half and I haven't... Yeah, it's only... Yeah, fuck that. Okay. I'm not gonna do a second doomer hour since it's already doom. Real doomer hour begins in our sleep. I actually usually have good dreams. I used to have a lot of bad dreams of the school times, nightmares of school shit, but not really much anymore. I usually have good dreams. I need to go around telling girls I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, I'm sure that relationship will end well. I might as well say, hey, gold diggers, what's up? How's it going? I got a bunch of money in my bank account I haven't spent. What, you want some? It's either that or clout whores, you know? It's just same thing, basically, but... To Krayshawn, I don't need a start. I don't want to start. I have no desire to be a man whore who sleeps around with 50 women. There was a time where that was distasteful, when society was at its peak, right? I mean, yes, we're heading into the degenerate times. Doesn't mean I need to be a part of it. That would give me nothing. Absolutely nothing out of it. I want less social interaction, not more. So going out and sleeping with women with my clout is absolutely not what I want. I used to wake up dreaming that I was still in college or school and never graduated, being stuck in a loop like in a video game. Yeah. Dark Horse Shepherd, it can always get much worse. As of now, society's still functioning. At least, you know, depending on your definition of function. I mean, there's many unspoken rules. The rule of law is dead, as Devin Stack has said. Where obviously some people are allowed to break the law and get away with it, but for the most part, we have decided to still engage in polite society. DBZ, Japanese dub, definitely English. I've heard the Japanese voices, I don't like them. Especially not Goku. Grandma Goku sounds fucking horrible. I still don't like those smug DBZ English voice actors. Just look at their tweets. Oh yeah, I think they're all piece of shit. But I like the voices though. Okay, not like Grandma Goku, but she's a legend for playing Goku for over 40 years. I mean, is that all it takes to become a legend? Is just voice a character for 40 years? I don't know. I feel like nerds overemphasize, like they've tried to put voice actors on a pedestal like actual actors, but I don't really care about either. I mean, I certainly don't put celebrities on a pedestal either, but I think voice actors, they have a high ego. I know Japan, the culture is a bit different, but especially like English voice acting, they all have their heads shoved up their asses. You want less social interaction? Would stop me from returning to the neat lifestyle. There's talking to words on a screen does not feel like talking to human beings. I can tell you that. Oh, Thinking Ape commented on the Dragon's Dogma 2 video. I didn't see it. Maybe I'll give it a heart. Maybe I'll respond depending on what he says. I do like his stuff. I'm subbed. I watch some. I give it a like. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it is doomer content, obviously, but it's from at least a guy who's had a shit ton of experience. It's usually the type of shit you want to look for in doomer content, is you have to at least know that the person saying this stuff is, you know, like they have a lot of personal experiences with human behavior. I kind of watch DBDR almost for the opposite, though, where it's like just some zoomer trying to navigate modern society. That's pretty amusing to me. Alright, whatever. Maybe I'll end the stream after I play this then. And it was just the 16-bit version to correct it. Thing is, if Synth can make friends with, like, Thomas or whoever, I'm sure he can graduate to female-oriented situations. I think the ship has sailed. DBDR's recent tortoise and hare video was funny. Hare mogging the tortoise and fucking his wife. He got cucked and mogged and never even began. Yeah, that was funny, but I feel like he missed the point of the tortoise and the hare story, which is just that, you know, if a genetically superior creature can get cocky and lazy, then the average person who works really hard could surpass them, which is true. Is true. I wouldn't say it's It's not really like, I mean, it's a good lesson, but I feel like people interpret it wrong, because if you interpret it the way I say it, it still acknowledges genetic reality. Like, because we know a rabbit is faster than a tortoise. I mean, we know this, right? And the same can be applied to humans. The people are just born faster, stronger, taller, more attractive. But in certain situations, a normal person could, you know, surpass them in a certain aspect. But, doesn't happen very often. Do I see myself as a mental health advocate specifically for young lonely men trying to find their way in clown world? I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I can't really help anybody, so yeah. Like the cyanide and happiness short, the turtle lives longer and watches the rabbit lineage die. I haven't seen that, but I feel like on that same line of thinking, the rabbit is the Chad who fucks 100 women and has 1,000 children, and then the turtle is the incel, but he lives to 120. You know, that's not a good trade-off. It's not a good trade-off, dude. I mean, that analogy probably has some truth to it. Lean on my funny personality. Women don't find what I say funny. I'm just gonna tell you. The type of woman who finds the edgy shit I say funny is probably fucked in the head. I'm gonna be honest. Like, my humor is like anti-female humor. I mean, you know, my 5% female fans, you know, sorry for the insult, but you guys are probably, yeah, well, I mean, it's not surprising. The people who watch here aren't normal either. I'm not saying the men who watch this are normal, but, you know, so am I. Yeah, well, you shouldn't, it's just like the Sam Hyde quote, you shouldn't want a girlfriend who's just like you. You should want one that, you know, counteracts your weaknesses. Again, like, you want a man with Asperger's. If you want a man that's, like, his same interests, thinks the same, it's who agrees with everything you say. Good Sam Hyde quote. Arja Starwall, thanks 40 rupees. Sleep King, do not think. Yeah, thinking's bad. You're not supposed to drag everyone to your political BS as if it's the only thing that matters. True. I mean, politics, though, doesn't even come up in normal conversation. I mean, if someone brought up politics out of nowhere, then I'm bailing out of that situation. Like, why the hell would you get into that for no reason? That can only end poorly. I talk about politics so much on my channel because video games are so infested with politics. Unfortunately, you guys want me to talk about politics a lot of times. So, my mom is into bullshit alternative medicine that's super expensive. Should I confront her about it? Well, it's crazy how people fall for this shit. I'm not a good person to tell you that. I don't know anything about your relationship with your mother or what she's like, but if you think you could do it in a way that wouldn't cause a huge argument, then maybe. Autistic, ADHD, mental illness, and schizophrenic is my audience. Yeah. Yeah. When people tell me what to do, it makes me want to not listen to you guys. Everyone telling me to go to sleep, it's like, you're lucky I don't time out all of you for a week. Time you out until after the next stream. We're going to talk about politics with the current way the industry's going, but you still sound like a schizo many times. Well, maybe you don't fit in here, Solon. Let's see. Strike 1, you don't like Dark Souls. Strike 2, you don't like Resident Evil 4. Strike 3, you think what I have to say is schizo. That sounds like 3 reasons to not listen to anything you have to say. Do we need to add more? I've been banned by 99% of communities I've been to. I'm sure it's all those communities' faults. You've been banned from 109 communities, but, you know, it's not your fault. Didn't break any of the rules, though. Okay, well, I mean, did you start a bank? Did you start lending money to people and charge them interest? Did you come up with... Never mind. I can't say that. Okay, I think I'll just end the stream on that. At least I ended on a joke.